CHAMPS Winter Roundup is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner and official military branch of the MHSAA. The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, because better coaching always matters. Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. The U.S. Army, what's your warrior?
Hello, high school sports fans, and welcome to another installment of the State Champs Winter Roundup. This past weekend, the entire state of Michigan was divided over who was going to win the big game, but today we are here to act as the glue to bring us all back together by celebrating some of our favorite high school winter sports. Like always, we are presented by Lawrence Technological University. I'm Jenna Skelski.
And I'm Grace Boyles. We have an excellent lineup of highlights coming your way this episode, including Downriver League cheer, boys swimming, and of course, girls basketball. We even give you guys a special VIP pass to the mat for the girls wrestling state finals.
We have a lot to get to, so let's get started with girls basketball highlights presented by the U.S. Army. And we begin with a clash in the city of Detroit. The Edison Pioneers are #1 ranked team in the state going up against the Lady Phoenix of Renaissance, ranked 3rd in our latest top 25 rankings. Edison in red looking to win its 4th straight state title, coming in undefeated at 11-0 and have a Miss Basketball candidate in Gabby Elliott. First quarter action, the Clemson recruit gets the pass from Ruby Whitehorn, and she gets the hoop and the foul. Renaissance would respond later in the quarter as Shannon Wheeler drives and kisses it off the glass, and the Lady Phoenix led 13-10 after the first. More from Renaissance early in the second quarter. Wheeler creates the turnover and gets it out to Kaylee Davis, who goes on in for the easy lay-in. But back comes Edison right before the end of the half. Whitehorn with the miss, but the senior Ariel Jenkins is there for the putback. Pioneers went into halftime leading 25-23. And the Phoenix would continue to play in the second half. In transition, they get it out to Davis for another bucket. She finished with a game high of 22 points. But the Pioneers would close the third on a 7-0 run as the senior Elliott drives and gets a difficult attempt to go in. Edison was up 36-27 as we head into the fourth. Renaissance was not backing down. Micaiah Finley gets the ball in the corner, and she would knock down the three and gets the foul. The whole bench is loving it, and we are tied up at 42. But Detroit Edison would hang on in the end as Shalana Wagner gets the ball back to her and she puts it on in. She finished the afternoon with 9 points as Edison hangs on to beat Renaissance 54-52. The Pioneers remained undefeated at 12-0 on the season.
I'm Zach Herrick from the West Michigan area. Big game in the Interstate 8. Marshall hosting the conference leader Harper Creek. Not a great start for the Beavers, however. Trailing by 10 as Maddie Alexander gets the Windex out to clean up the glass. But back come the Redhawks. Brooke Wado going to inbound the ball, step in bounds, and fire for 3 off the assist from Katie Foster. That extends the Marshall lead to 10 once again. And Marshall would get it done on both sides of the ball. Sydney Fiesel, one of 8 underclassmen on the roster, comes up with the steal and finishes with the left hand. Well, Harper Creek would come back. The nice feed inside and the finish by Erica Gibson plus the foul. The Beavers win it 40-37 to remain atop the conference. In a good OK conference crossover between South Christian and Grand Rapids Christian. Early on, Savannah Baker driving, absorbing the contact. No foul called, but she finishes it anyway. Eagles in front. But the Sailors would answer. A nice bounce pass from Josie Vink to Taylor Newhoff, who banks it home. South would trail by 7 at the end of the first quarter. And the Eagles would build on that lead in the second. Evie Duzuma, one of the best sophomores in the state, with a rebound and putback for 2. Then it's Baker coming up with the loose ball and finishing for the Deuce. Grand Rapids Christian impressive in the 55-40 win over South Christian. The Eagles have now won 3 straight.
I'm Ryan Slocum. We head to the Saginaw Valley League with 11-2 Midland Dow at 11-3 Bay City John Glenn. Quick start for the home team. Abigail Tarrant with the ball fake and Euro step for the bucket. The Bobcats would go up 6 in the first.
Jada Garner leading the way for the Chargers. The junior throws it off the high glass and one. Jada scored 14. But the first half was dominated by the Cats. Carly McCrum with a sweet step back in the corner. That gave John Glenn a 7-point lead. Dow makes a run in the third. Carly McVeigh with the scoop to the hoop. The Chargers down just a deuce at 32-30 after 3. And they keep the charge going in the fourth. Alexa Kolnitis on the wing for 3, giving Dow its first lead of the night. Couple of trips later, it's Alyssa Kepner with the rebound, the putback, and the foul. That puts Dow up 3 with 5 minutes to play. But the Cats come right back at them. Cameron McKenzie from straightaway for 3. The sophomore scored all 10 of her points in the second half. They're tied at 38, but it would be all Dow from there. Caitlin Murray on the wing for a triple of her own. That puts the Chargers up for good. Midland Dow completes the comeback to beat Bay City John Glenn 46-41.
I'm Greg Molson at a Flint Metro League matchup between a pair of 9 and 4 teams. Lake Fenton playing at Kersley with both teams looking for win number 10. The Hornets playing without their leading scorer, Sydney Walker, out with a knee injury, but her younger sister, Sanaya Walker, steps up in her place. Jakira Wash setting her up for the finish. Walker then does it all herself, going end-to-end for 2 more as Kersley jumps out to a 13-0 lead in the first 3 minutes of the game. But the Blue Devils come storming back, led by Caitlin Siebert, spinning and scoring. That was the beginning of a 15-2 Blue Devil run, capped off by a triple from Kerrigan Howdeshell, tying the game at 15-all. Kersley pulls away again in the second. Markayla Shannon with the bounce pass down low to Cameron Polka. The Hornets led it by 15, 41-26 at the half. Siebert doing her best to try to keep Lake Fenton in it. She scored 22 points, but Kersley holds on to its lead, led by Sanaya Walker. She scored 19 points in the first half and finishes with a career-high 25 for the game. She fills in quite nicely for her older sister, leading Kersley to a 70-55 win over Lake Fenton.
I know that she was one of our leading scorers, and I know that since she's going to be out, it's going to be a little tough, so I feel like I did have to step up with the scoring.
You know, it's been a huge challenge for us to kind of get everybody involved this year. Sydney does a lot of carrying us on her back, and the whole team stepped up, was ready to go. Jakira did a great job, Markayla did a great job, Sanaya did a phenomenal job. So it was great to see everyone come together with that loss.
How you doing? My name is First Class Adams.
Hey, what's up, Detroit? I'm Staff Sergeant Stevens. If you're within the age of 17 to 34, if you look for a job without any experience, we can teach you everything you need to know. Come be a part of the team.
And where you can locate us at is on goarmy.com/Michigan.
And our phone number is 586-774-0218 or 517-214-8542.
Go Army.
Lauren Plant back here, and I'm calling out all League of Legends players. That's right, esports, to get your school signed up for this year's 4th annual league and tournament. Did you know that there has already been nearly $1 million given out in scholarship money by Lawrence Tech to not just the winning team of the tourney, but the runners-up too? Get 5 guys from your school. Regular season starts in February, playoffs in April, championship finale in May at Lawrence Tech in Southfield, Michigan. Sign up right now at statechampsesports.net. Oh yeah, the league is free. We're accepting teams from Indiana and Michigan. It's epic. Be a part of it. For all information, including sign up, go to statechampsesports.net and do it right now. Registration will end very soon.
I'm on the Blue Devil football team, and that's a great place to be because other colleges wouldn't let me be both a football player and a nursing student. And just because I'm a dog on the field doesn't mean I can't take care of people. And man, do I love people. The small class size at LTU give me awesome access to my nursing professors. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
We're getting reports that you have over 40,000 flavor combinations.
That's right.
May I examine one, ma'am? Is this real cheese?
100% real mozzarella, officer.
Explain this dough.
Made fresh daily.
I'm gonna have to confiscate this as evidence.
Aren't you a mall cop?
All units, someone's in the fountain.
10-4. Tiger on the prowl.
Treat yourself to the world's first stuffed flavored crust pizza. And now, for just $6.99, try our new stuffed Howie bread.
Hungry?
Howie!
Today I'd like to take you inside the recent MHSAA Women in Sports Leadership Conference.
A record crowd in excess of 700 gathered in Lansing for the MHSAA's 2020 Women in Sports Leadership Conference on February 2nd and 3rd, one of the top programs of its type in the country to inspire and equip today's female student athletes and teacher coaches. A variety of workshops discussing everything from nutrition and injury prevention to social media and engaging sports parents got participants working together and sometimes even up on their feet. Great keynote speakers addressed and interacted with the crowd, including former Portage Northern High School soccer standout and two-time Olympic gold medal winner Lindsay Tarpley, Michigan State University women's volleyball coach Kathy George, and Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. And the conference banquet was highlighted by the presentation of the 2020 Women in Sports Leadership Award to East Lansing High School Athletic Director Nikki Norris.
For more information on the Women in Sports Leadership Conference, visit MHSAA.com.
Hey everybody, our very own Matt Mowry, our digital managing editor, is here to give us the weekly girls basketball rankings update. So Matt, we still have a couple teams who are undefeated. Can you tell us about what's going on?
Sure. As of Tuesday morning, there were 14 unbeaten teams left in Michigan, but just 5 of those in Division 1 or 2. 4, Detroit Edison, Hudsonville, Port Huron, and Menominee, are in our top 25, and the other is an honorable mention. The other unbeaten that we have in the rankings is D3 Byron. It's really, really hard to go 20-0 in high school basketball, especially when you play a tough schedule. 5 of the teams in our last top 25 ranking, Heartland, Carman Ainsworth, Rockford, Mercy, and Midland, took their first loss in the last 2 weeks, while 3 of the remaining unbeaten teams had scares in the last 2 weeks. Hudsonville had to outlast Rockford by 1 in double overtime on January 24th. Byron escaped Chesaning by 6 in overtime on Friday. The nationally ranked Edison got by Detroit Renaissance by just 2, the Pioneers' closest call since their last loss 37 games ago on Saturday. Going unbeaten is the one thing the Pioneers really haven't done in their run of titles, which is understandable when you look at how tough they schedule. Looking ahead, 6 of their final 7 games, those teams are currently in our top 25 or have been at one point this year.
So when can we anticipate the next rankings coming up?
The next rankings will be the small school rankings on Monday, February 10th.
Thank you, Matt. You can check out next week's rankings at statechampsnetwork.com.
What's up, State Champs Nation? We hope you're enjoying this week's Winter Roundup so far. However, I'm here to remind you that this is not the only content we have here at State Champs. Be sure to check us out on YouTube or on our brand new app to watch Hang Time, a show that is dedicated to all things boys basketball. These Hooper-friendly highlights premiere every Thursday at 5 p.m. Be there or be square.
What's up, Puckhead? Sean and John here. Don't forget, you can check out Hockey Time. Every week, we are going to be talking about what's going on in the great state of Michigan at the high school level. So much good hockey being played, and we're going to do our best to cover it from all vantage points in the great state of Michigan. New episodes drop every Wednesday right around 3 o'clock.
The ones who wake up every morning ready to take on the world. The ones who push their limits to be better than the rest. You're looking to join a team of leaders who want to be challenged. You want to be pushed to your limits. You value freedom and think you have what it takes. The ones with speed, strength, intellect, and determination. Michigan Army National Guard. We see you.
Welcome back to the State Champs Winter Roundup. I'm Jenna Skelski. Let's get back to the highlights.
250 high school girls traveled to Adrian College this past weekend for the second annual Girls High School Wrestling State Championships. Champions were crowned in 14 weight classes from 97 pounds to 270. Check out these highlights from the championship matches. First up, Emmy Hicks of Saline and Mackenzie German of Clinton battling for the 97-pound championship. Hicks strikes early with a swing single on German. Hicks goes on to win by a fall in 4 minutes and 56 seconds. Next is the 102-pound weight class. Wrestling is Rihanna Sahagan from Sparta and Michaela Wilt from Mayo Asabal. Sahagan wins by fall in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. On to the 107-pound championship. Kendra Ryan of Fenton and Hannah Becker of Forest Hills Central take the mat. Ryan wins by fall in 51 seconds. Next up, Hannah Arledge Turan of Fowlerville and Casey Boney of Chippewa Valley face off in the 112-pound championship. Boney with the whip over. Arledge Turan, though, captures the championship 6-4. Now on to the 117-pound championship matchup. Jojo Palashan of Southgate Anderson taking on Alana Nurala. Another close match, however, Palashan claims the win 6-4. Autumn Teague of Holly and Lydia Roop of Bay City Western on the mat in the 122 championship match now. Great single leg by Teague. She holds on to the lead and wins 8-1 over Roop. Next up in the 127-pound championship, Sylvia Pierce of Bedford and Taylor Randolph of Clinton. Pierce takes home the championship, winning by fall over Randolph. The 132-pound championship match featuring Reese Gonzalez of Lowell and Eliana Kuzma of Carlson. Gonzalez wins by fall and becomes the 132-pound champion. On to the 138-pound championship. Alicia Piper of Waterford Kettering goes up against Bella Wozni of Hemlock. Piper goes on to defeat Wozni 8-1. Maritza Gallegos of Salem now takes on Bryn Green of Howell in the 155-pound championship. Gallegos and holds out for the 14-2 victory over Green. On to the 168-pound championship matchup. Chloe Williams of Clio and Bo Guybe of Constantine on the mat. Williams going on to win 12-3 over Guybe. Next up, Kaylin Garrett of South Lyon and Grace Middleton of Mayville take the mat for the 184-pound championship. Garrett wins by fall in 1:33. Closing out the day, Eliana Bamarito of Heartland and Teresa Rodriguez of Parchment in the 270-pound championship match. Bamarito putting her in a headlock to become the two-time champ for Heartland.
I'm Jenna Skelski, and let's check out competitive cheerleading with the Downriver League Championship held at Woodhaven High School. We begin with the competition with Wyandotte Roosevelt and their performance in round 1. The Bears would finish the night in 5th place. Next up, we have the Titans from Southgate Anderson with their performance in round 2. The Titans with a 4th place finish. Coming up next, we have the Warriors from Woodhaven showing off their cheer skills in round 1. The Warriors would take 3rd place in the night. Now let's check out Allen Park, who is the defending Downriver League champ, as they stick their flawless routine from round 2. The Jaguars would take 2nd place in the night. But the night would go to Gibraltar Carlson, who are 2-time defending Division II state champs. Here they are in round 3 as they hold the high score. Otters would go on to take first place at the Downriver League Championship.
I'm Chuck Pellerito, and we go to boys swimming in the MAC Conference. White Division matchup as Utica Ford was at home to take on the Tars from Anchor Bay. And we begin with a 200-yard IM. It would be Brendan Ligorio from Utica Ford pulling away from Nate Toth from Anchor Bay to get the 2-second win. The Falcons would take the first 3 events on the night. Anchor Bay leading the MAC White would come back in the exciting 50 free. It would be Kane Upton coming through with the victory for the Tars. We move later in the race to 100 free. Utica Ford's Cameron Borchert would get away from the pack and would cruise on in for the 3-second win. Next, to the 500 freestyle, and we had a battle between Anchor Bay teammates for the top spot. It would be Zach Trombley that would edge out Zach Graves for the W. More from Anchor Bay as Nate Toth would get his first victory on the night in the 100 backstroke, winning by over 3 seconds. But the Falcons would respond to the next event in the 100 breaststroke, as Nathan Pollock will get to the win first, winning by over 2.5 seconds, Utica Ford keeping it close. But it would be too much Anchor Bay on this night. In the 400 free relay, it would be Upton anchoring the last leg and would hold off a late charge by Utica Ford to get the victory, as Anchor Bay would go on to take the meet and remains in first place in the MAC White.
February is Black History Month, and this week, State Champs salutes Kevin Glenn. Although closed for 15 years now, Detroit DePores High School will be remembered as one of the greatest sports schools ever. 39 state championships in total, 12 in football. A 3-year sports star quarterback in the mid-90s was Kevin Glenn. The Eagles won back-to-back titles in 95 and 96. Glenn was the guts and the glue for DePores, his junior year alone throwing for over 1,300 yards with 250 more on the ground. Glenn guided the Eagles to their 10th state championship in 1996, which at the time was most in state history. Glenn went on to play at Illinois State, where he set 25 school records. Glenn has competed at the highest level in the Canadian Football League, and he's considered by many one of the best quarterbacks in CFL history. In June, he retired after 18 seasons and just recently was hired at Detroit Catholic Central as the first admissions community outreach manager in school history. State Champs salutes Kevin Glenn. Lawrence Technological University was first founded in 1932, and today, the university sits on 105 acres in Southfield, Michigan. With over 5,000 students and over 400 full and part-time faculty, LTU is one of the largest independent colleges in the state, offering over 100 degree programs across 4 colleges. Sports at LTU were huge in the 40s and 50s, with basketball being one of the top teams in the nation. But athletics soon went away and didn't return until 2011. Now, there are 26 D2 level scholarships for men and women's sports offered at LTU, with most competing in the NAIA. We caught up with Lawrence Tech's athletic director to discuss the evolution of Blue Devil sports and what the future has in store.
I'm just amazed at how fast we've grown. You know, we started with 5 club teams back then, and you know, if I was to guess, I would thought we'd been at 16, 18 teams, but this year we're going to have 26 teams competing at a varsity level, so it's really grown very quickly.
If you are interested in learning more about Lawrence Technological University, log on to ltu.edu. To follow Lawrence Tech Athletics and even to recruit yourself, go to ltuathletics.com. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Fast Break here on the Winter Roundup. So 2 segments this week. We also have one on Hang Time, both featuring these 2 fine gentlemen, Dan Young, the Executive Director of the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, and Keith Richardson. We welcome him to the State Champs set. He is the assigner of officials for the Saginaw Valley Conference and a member of the BOCCC. Dan, explain what that is.
So 20 years ago, the MHSAA and BCAM put a committee together called the Basketball Officials and Coaches Communications Committee. A lot of C's there, but that's what it's about. It's communicating, working, sitting down together, meetings throughout the year. Joe Ricard has been the leader of that group for many years. And we get together and we hash it out. What's going on? What can we improve on? How can we get better at both sides of the table? And it's been tremendous. It's been a great organization, and it continues to improve.
So the topic is improving the coach and referee relationship. How do we do that, Keith?
Oh boy, I think the first thing that we need to understand is what our roles are. And I've always said this, I have the utmost respect for coaches. And one year I did coach my daughter's softball team at the JV level, and the first practice I walked in and I came home, my wife said, "How'd you like it?" I said, "I'll stick to officiating."
It's harder than you think.
Because the demands of a coach, what they go through, and this is just at the JV level, was beyond my scope of what I thought that they did.
Absolutely.
So the respect level went through the roof for them. I think, too, from the official standpoint, if we understood that, I think it'd be a lot better. But I think what happens is we have a misconception of what each other does. Coaches are paranoid, we're out to get them, and the officials are worried about their ratings because coaches do rate them at the high school level. So going into that situation, there's this lack of trust, I would call it. But I think if there was an education part of it, that what they do, what we do, I think it would mend that fence. And I'll start with the officials because I talked to a few of the coaches and I asked them, what are your expectations of us? And it really came down to they thought we're like NBA officials. We watch film, we go to camp, we're in shape, we know the rules. And I had to tell the coaches, as a high school officials,
you have a day job, right?
I work for 11, 8 to 5. When I get done, I go do a game. I don't have to be in shape. I don't have to know the rules. I don't have to watch film. I don't have to go to camps or anything like that. I just show up. That's it. And it really kind of opened their eyes up because everybody watches TV. Well, there's college or pros, and then they have this expectations that we're the same way. And I think if they understood that we do for the love of the game, the money or other things like that, then I think what would happen then is when we go do a game, we understand what their role is, they understand what our role is. I think it would make the game a lot better because at the end of the day, we're in this together.
Right.
It's about the kids. It's about the kids. I tell the officials, it ain't about you. Nobody came to see you. We go do the best job that we can, and the best team wins.
You know, Dan, you coached a long time. What did you figure out over the course of your career was the best way to communicate with the referee so you get your point across and yet it's done in a respectful way?
As a team, we would decide, I'm going to coach. I'd ask the players, you guys are going to play. Let's them officiate. Don't try to do more than one thing. Because if we do, if I'm trying to coach and officiate, I'm not going to coach as well. I'm going to get out of what I'm trying to do to help the team. If you're a player and you're trying to officiate or you're worrying about the officials or trying to coach, you're not going to play as well. And so players play, coaches coach, officials officiate. And it just seemed to help me as a coach to just try to do a good job coaching.
All right, and finally, as we wrap this segment, some of the things that through the BOCCC, some of the things you guys have done that is working to improve relationships, or where do you feel we need to go now? What's the state of where we're at right now between coaches and officials, and is it getting better?
I think in pockets it's better. I think those of the coaches and officials that have gotten to know one another have built that relationship over years, that they're in it for the right reasons. That has gotten better. I think the thing we're all worried about is gaining and recruiting new coaches and new officials at the younger levels, whether they're college students working intramural games and working their way up to freshman and JV or middle school. That's a concern. The average age of officials are in their early 50s. And so that's a major concern that we've been talking about on that committee is getting new people and building good relationships to where we understand the big picture.
Absolutely. And we talk about that. And that is the segment that you'll find on Hang Time Michigan. We are going to get into the crisis, really, that we're at right now in terms of referees being available in the state of Michigan, recruiting new ones. So that's the subject there. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Keith, for being here. This has been Fast Break.
Time now for the MHSAA Clip of the Week. And it goes to the Gibraltar Carlson cheer team. Their third-round performance on Wednesday night helped clinch the Downriver League championship. MHSAA Clip of the Week.
And that's it for this week on the Roundup. Be sure to download our brand new State Champs app so that you can stay up to date with all of our shows while you're on the go. Whether you watch from your Amazon Fire Stick or your cell phone, we are constantly posting content on all things high school.
That's right, Grace. We even cover robotics and esports. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time.
State Champs Winter Roundup is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner and official military branch of the MHSAA. The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, because better coaching always matters. Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. The U.S. Army, what's your warrior?